Welcome to Community Podcast. My guest today is, I should say, a good friend because we've become good friends over the last year because I'm a trustee at North Central State College, and I know the person sitting across from me, Hannah White, quite well. Hi, Hannah.
Good morning, Dave.
All right. Hannah is, she's got, what is your official job title over there now at the Crawford Success Center?
So I'm the administrative assistant at the Crawford Success Center, and I'm also a foundation specialist for the foundation of North Central State College.
Okay, so your role is expanded.
Yes.
Okay, which is a wonderful thing.
Absolutely.
Because we're going to kind of get into that, but I welcome you to the podcast this morning, and obviously we can have an intelligent conversation because we were both pretty familiar with the Crawford Success Center and North Central State College. So again, you've filled us in on kind of where you're at. Now, what's going on currently down there at the Success Center? I should say over there. It's a few blocks from here.
Yeah, just a few blocks, quick walk.
There you go.
So we have our QuickBooks training coming up here on October 11th and 12th. From 8 a.m. to noon. Ms. Miller here in Bucyrus is putting that on as a partner with us. So if anyone's interested, it's $250 a person. Just reach out to us and we'll get you a registration form and you'll be good to go. So this is an awesome local community training that we're offering.
Right. Well, as we were talking a little bit off air before we started this morning, I always say the Crawford Success Center at North Central State College, that's your college located here in Bucyrus, Ohio. And I will digress one other little point on that. I don't think people really realize how important it is to have a college in your town.
Correct.
Community college or any kind of college, because when people come to look at a site to locate a business or they want some place where they can have an educated workforce or get people educated or trained. And we fit that bill up at the Crawford Success Center.
Yes, we do. Another event we have going on here is our open house, which is end of next month, October 24th, from 5 to 7 p.m. This is just a great way to meet the wonderful staff we have there, see all the programs that we offer, and just kind of tour the building. It's a state-of-the-art facility, so getting more community members in and out, that's our goal.
Well, you'll be there, and I would figure Nate would likely be there, Nate Harvey.
Yep, our director, yes.
Joel Isles.
Yep, he's our transition specialist, and the wonderful Pat Hargis, our LPN success coordinator.
Wow, gee, we got them all in there.
We got the Fabulous Four, yes.
The Fabulous Four. I like that. Sounds like a title for a movie.
Yes. Classes are also underway right now, so it's great to see a bunch of new faces, especially just fresh freshmen right into college. So just seeing everyone, it's awesome. Just there's always new activity, new buzz going around. We also got a new roof, and our parking lot got redone, so it even looks better than before.
Oh, yeah. Quite frankly, it looked pretty shoddy before. Now it looks very professional. It really looks like a place that you would go to college, and it looks nice.
Yes.
Transitioning into something you just said, we all start somewhere. We talk about freshmen coming in, and it's nice to see new faces. Mm-hmm. But it wasn't that long ago that you were a new face, and for you, you know of what you speak because you were a student at North Central State College. And why don't you kind of share for our listening audience, maybe or for our listening audience here of the podcast, kind of how this all transitioned for you? Because it's a great story.
Yes, thank you. And if you've heard it multiple times already with the Scholarships for Success event, it's just I really like to share it just to kind of get more people motivated. So straight out of high school, I graduated from Winford in 2018. I didn't really know what I wanted to do, but I knew I wanted to do something. I was told that I wasn't college material, yet I had really good grades, I had the work ethic, but I was just told that, you know what, just find a factory job. You're not going to make it out in the big world. So that, I'm like, oh, that kind of hurt a lot. Mm-hmm. But I'm a strong-minded person. I have my family, and they said, you know what? Take those words take those negative words, use that as motivation to keep going.
Catapulted you forward in your life rather than shrinking and just saying, well, I have to accept that.
Right, exactly.
Because we don't have to accept that. No one has to accept that.
No, not at all. So I took those negative words, propelled me into college. So in the span of 3 years at North Central State College, I have 2 associate's degrees.
That's something.
I loved college so much, I'm like, you know what, let's just add another one on. So graduated, from North Central in December of 2021. I'm like, you know what? I want to keep going. So
Yes.
I did. We have an awesome partnership with Franklin University, the 3+1 program. So a year later, I got my bachelor's degree.
Wow.
So it's just when you have that support system, when you have those connections that really just keep you grounded and help you move forward, that's the key to success. If it wasn't for the faculty and the staff at North Central, I don't think I would have made it through the pandemic. I mean, it got so you're familiar with everyone was just so low, and they didn't have any positivity, and they wanted to give up.
Well, it's like the old boxing phrase, you know, these people, they're on the canvas. You got to get up off the canvas.
Yes.
You take some hits, but you got to get up off the canvas and fight, which is what I admire about you, what you've accomplished, because normally once somebody gets some negative things, and most of us, we've been told a lot of negative things in our life, so then we feed on what we've been fed.
Yes.
And we don't need to keep eating that diet.
Correct.
You need to change the diet to a success diet.
Yes.
And so that's what I would call it. And you've obviously done that. Now, I would transition this. This makes you, I think, almost perfect for your job, because you have people come in, they're in the same boat as you, aren't they?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
You got a lot of people come in, they're really down. They don't see any hope in their life. This Crawford Success Center offers hope, and hope through education and getting forward.
Yes.
And you can do it. You can achieve it. You're living proof of that.
Yes, I am. Mm-hmm. The Success Center was my lighthouse. It's in Bucyrus. We have a lighthouse for education.
Yes.
And students will come in. I'll sit down with them and say, hey, I'll share a little bit of my story. Share yours. We can find some common ground. Oh, hey, look, let's plan out a timeline for you. Let's take baby steps, because that's all you need to get started is a few baby steps.
Well, there's, I believe, a saying that says, if I can remember the saying now, because I had it in my head and it kind of rolls around, you know, a goal without a timeline is just a dream. So you need a timeline, and you need to get a little discipline. And most people lack discipline, which is one of my biggies with people in general. If you just apply a little discipline, and you have some positive motivation behind you, you can succeed about anything in this life that you dare to want to achieve.
Yes, yes. And I take that personally, too. I'm everyone's cheerleader at the center.
Yes.
Students, before class, hey, are you excited for class today? What can I do to help you? After class, hey, how was class? Do you need some extra tutoring sessions? Do you want me to reach out? What do you need help with? Do you want a snack? I got snacks at my desk. So it's just those connections.
Well, that's another point. People come into things with a lot of hang-ups and a lot of baggage in life. You don't have to keep holding on to the baggage, and you don't have to keep holding on to the hang-ups. So those are all things. So in that vogue, let's move forward a little bit in our conversation. How can the Crawford Success Center, what can they do for our listeners out there? Because I think this kind of ties in with it, doesn't it?
Yes, absolutely. So, I mean, we are a community center. That's why it was founded. So if you're a business, we have room rentals, or nonprofits, community groups. We have a bunch of community groups coming in the afternoons, hosting their meetings, just kind of having a different environment to just kind of relax and have thoughtful and meaningful conversations. So if anyone's interested, just reach out for pricing lists. We do have those available. One-day trainings, like we talked about with workforce development. We have an entire slew full of lists that we can go down through with a business and say, hey, what would you like to work on? What programs can we train or teach your employees to help better the environment? Or how can you as a business invest in your employees? Kind of going back and forth with that question. We do a lot of career pathing and testing. So like I mentioned, I'll sit down with someone and create that timeline. Just anyone. I mean, we can get those set up anytime, you know, when the center's open. And just, I take my job personally in connecting the gaps and understanding what we have to offer. So I'm out in the schools doing presentations, or I'm out doing community events. I make sure, like, hey, I work for North Central, but we have a satellite here in Bucyrus. Let's get you plugged in locally so then you can advance further out.
Well, your point is well taken, what you mentioned earlier. It all begins with taking a few steps, and you have to have some faith as you move forth in those steps, in my opinion. But again, this is another thing. So a lot of people will talk themselves out of things, like, well, I have children, or I've got to do this, or I have no transportation. But if you're honest and you say these are our issues, normally something can be worked out to resolve these. Am I correct?
Yeah, absolutely. I like to leverage our other organizations in Bucyrus, saying like, hey, Job and Family Services, they have different funds available where if you need some childcare or if you need transportation services, they can work with you and just kind of prepare you. So I'll have students that I'll personally walk down one block and just drop them off and say, hey, connect with Susie or connect with her over here, and we'll get you plugged in. I mean, as long as those needs are addressed, and I kind of go through with that with my questionnaire that I go through, I try to make sure I plug them in as possible with all of our organizations here.
Another one I like to use is you got to learn not to be an I can't person.
Yes.
You got to be an I can. That's why I say we are I-cans. We're Americans. I know that's a little corny, but that's what built this nation was I can people. So you have to have that mentality. And if you don't have it, or maybe you've lost a little thing along the way in the path, you can get into that track.
Yes.
Like I said, you will be encouraged. We're about encouraging people at the Success Center because education is the key to your future.
Yes.
That's one thing they cannot take from you is your education.
Correct. Yep. And that education, it doesn't have to be a 4-year degree.
No, it doesn't.
It can be a 1-year certificate or even just a training program. That's continuing education. Nobody can take that away from you.
Right.
It's a skill that is earned and learned.
Right, and those are skills and things that you can take with you. Now, I know we just started classes up there for the fall semester, and you're going to say, well, gee, I've already missed that. Well, when can I begin next? Where would I go now? Let's say, because I'm trying to think like the people out here in the public, like they say, well, gee, I guess I'll go later. No, you need to start moving now.
Yeah, absolutely. So we broke down fall semester into sections A and B. So we're underway in term A, but term B starts here in the middle of October. So that runs from October to December, 8 weeks. We shortened our classes a little bit more, but it's more, the information's packed fuller.
It's intense.
And it is intense, but it's preparing you to keep moving if you have your goals set for you. That way you can take more classes and kind of speed through things a little bit faster. Our spring semester also starts here in January. So if you're like, I kind of want to take things a little bit slower, just make sure I'm really easing myself into it, I encourage a lot of our students just to start spring, take a class or two just to see, hey, is this too much, or I can do more next semester, just to kind of test the waters a little bit.
And I'm glad you mentioned this, because when we say spring semester is not actually on the map, spring.
Right.
It starts in January.
Correct.
So January 2024 is just right around the corner.
Right.
So you need to start prepping for that. So if you say, I want to be there spring quarter, don't be thinking spring quarter starts in March or April. It starts in January. So that's just a caution to people, because they hear the word spring and that's all they think about. They're not looking, they're not thinking with the way things are scheduled at a college. Okay?
Right.
So what we really are trying to say is you need to get moving, folks, and we can help you.
Yes. The enrollment process is a process.
Yes.
It takes a little bit of time, but if we start that early, it's just going to launch your career even faster for the January term for spring.
All right, you and I have had a nice conversation this morning. Let's say I'm out here listening right now to this podcast. How do I connect with the Crawford Success Center? Because I've made a decision. I'm a listener out here. Yeah. I'm interested in making the next step. How do I make the next step?
Well, you can stop by the center anytime during our posted hours, or you can give us a call at 419-755-9039. Our staff is always in the building. Or if you're like, I just want to do a little bit of browsing on social media, we are listed on social media. So follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn for any updates.
Okay, Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn for your updates. I will give the phone number again, 419-755-9039. If If you're planning on stopping in, it's at 130. Is it North Walnut?
North
Walnut.
Street.
I got to get my directions straight this morning. The best way I can say is if you see where the side entrance is into the Crawford County Courthouse, it's almost straight across from there.
Yep, just use the crosswalk. Be
Yeah,
a good
just-
citizen.
The crosswalk is a good a visual, yes. Yeah, because that's in the building right in there. And
Absolutely.
I'll tell you, anyone out here that is listening to the podcast this morning, this can be a life-changing moment for you.
Mm-hmm.
It can change your life.
Yep, it changed mine.
It changed Hannah's.
Yes.
And I've known you just a brief time, and I can tell already a lot of changes already, and all positive.
Mm-hmm.
Not that there were things before that weren't, but it's just you can see how you've progressed because success builds upon success. That's why I always like the name of the Crawford Success Center. Your college here at North Central State College, located in Bucyrus, Ohio. Thanks, Hannah, for coming in and doing the podcast this morning.
Yes,
I'm having so
you.
much fun I can hardly contain myself.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Dave.
You're more than welcome.